My name is Granthem,
And I'm Dylan.
and we took a survey about violent video games. We asked many questions about it, and we got over 100 responses. The purpose of our goal is to change the rating system, the ESRB rating system. What that is, it's the rating system for all video games. Depending on how violent it is, it'll get a different rating. And so what we want to do is, go next slide, is reduce it down from that to just 3. So E would be for everyone, and then T would be for teen 13 up, and then mature. Before it was 17 and up, but we wanted to change it to 16 because people get their license at 16 and they should deserve more responsibility.
And a year difference, it's not that big of a jump either. It's just one. They're probably pretty mature now.
So the way we use, so the people who we're targeting are teenagers and mostly parents of who have teenagers around the video game era. I guess you could say probably ages 12 to 18. So for logos, we use graphs. So people who else have taken surveys and gotten answers. For pathos, we have just clips of violent video games, I guess you could say. And then for ethos, I got this online. It says in 2008, the Secret Service did a survey for like all the school shootings, and only 1/8 of all the attackers exhibited an interest in violent games, and there was actually more percentage in people that were interested in movies and books than violent games.
Sorry, I thought you were.
Okay,
Okay.
so a big question we're probably going to bump into, should teens be able to buy violent video games? And before we ask that question, we also got to ask, do they promote violence and can they cause mental issues? So here's the graph. We asked people if teens could or should or should not buy violent video games, and this was our results.
And then the graph on the left is their ages. So you can see the highest one is ages 15 through 18, and that's about 60 people who are around that age. And one more thing for the mediums, we're using these graphs for statistics, and the videos just to show the violence. I think I missed medium.
The graph would be logos, right?
Oh yeah, but we used it for a medium.
Okay.
Can
Do you have a copy of the questions you asked on the survey?
It's on the other webpage.
Okay,
you
you can use that clicker to move the slides.
Well, it's not on.
Oh, it's on the other page?
The first
Okay.
page.
The other tab.
Yep.
And,
This one?
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
what
So
Okay.
what I did to get these, so first I asked their age, if they have kids, and if they should think teens are able to buy video games, and then do they think that it affects the children's behavior in a negative way, and then if they have any more statements or comments. So the way I got all this data was I just used social media. I used people like that I know online, just send to them, say, hey, can you bring the survey around? And I just put it on Reddit, which is social media for like news articles and stuff. Going over back to the.
Yep. That?
Yeah.
But so obviously kids around this age are gonna say yes, and parents of kids are gonna probably say no.
Yeah.
So it's kind of biased in both ways. But, don't hate on them, appreciate them. They aren't seeing the big picture. Video games don't cause murder. They don't tell people to go around and shoot at school. They're a form of entertainment and in some cases a stress reliever. And they could possibly be the thing that's keeping people from committing horrible acts of crime. The only reason people protest against games is because they want an excuse why some teens would do horrible things. And the fact is that the people doing those things are mentally ill. They have no correlation, video games have no correlation the person's own conscious choice to do those things, not the games telling them what to do. So pros, if you expose them to violence at a younger age, they'll be better adapted to like violence in the future. Like they won't faint at the sight of blood or anything like that. They're able to think outside the box a little bit. They're more coordinated, and like I said earlier, it's a stress reliever, and it can keep kids out of trouble. Like they're not off doing drugs, they're just in the house, just playing games. The cons, they tend to be a little more isolated than usual. They're less physically active, and it can cause a stimulus for people who aren't right in the head. So, and then how does this make sense? So, Destiny and Halo, they're basically the same game, yet somehow this made it to teen when this is a mature game. And they both say the exact same thing, blood and violence. So, yeah.
Interesting.
The video.
Okay.
Very long video. We don't have to watch the whole thing.
So for this installment in my plethora of to come Destiny series, I'll be comparing Destiny to Halo 3.
So
This
stop it
video,
at like
you'll
1
see a series
minute.
of side-by-side clips in some closely similar situations. This Bungie developed Halo and is now developing Destiny. And there's a lot of praise going around and also a lot of concern as to how Destiny will play and how it's going to feel. So right off the bat, here are the first few things I noticed. In comparison with Halo 3, the health meter was obviously the first thing I noticed. When they both deplete, they both make a similar noise as your character turns red. I personally think this is something a little bit too reminiscent of Halo and something they should have changed or modified a little bit. That's one aspect of Halo that's kind of like instinct for me, and it always reminds me of it. I didn't love Halo either, and for those who felt the same way, it really isn't exactly a great feeling. But, you know, it's there. At least it's not completely the same, but at the same time, they could have done something different. Also, when you reload, you can kind of notice a similar way in which both characters reload.
Okay.
We just wanted to show you the side-to-side comparison that it's basically the same thing. You're shooting aliens and stuff.
Wait, which one was Halo? The one on the right or the left?
Halo is the one on the left, and
Okay.
Destiny is the one on the right.
Destiny is a newer game, so maybe that's another reason why it could have been teen is
Yeah.
Because
But
times change and stuff.
Did you guys see, okay, not to throw a thorn in your side or anything, but on the left, there were creatures who were getting blown apart, and their limbs were flying, and there were blood and guts everywhere, whereas on the right, I only saw machines getting brought down. I did not see one living organism being taken out on the right at all,
We can
unless I
keep
missed
going.
it. Does it eventually do that?
Yeah, like,
Oh, okay.
So I don't think the video purpose wasn't just to show that there is violence in one and isn't. It's just kind of comparison to show it's pretty much the same game.
Okay.
You can keep watching it, and you can tell.
Okay. I was just, in that example that I saw, I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't see, but you are speaking from experience. You've both played the game, so
Yeah.
you know that they're very similar, and this is the proof. So that's good. Yeah. So next slide.
Yeah. I don't know if it works. If you want to go to
This one.
Yep.
yeah. So, 1994, 92 was it?
This game came out in '92.
Yeah, I remember this game.
So, yeah, Mortal Kombat came out in 92, and back then it was the most violent video game of its time. And that's what kind of started the ESRB rating. However, now it would be considered a joke compared to the violence we see in games now.
What's
And
ESRB stand for?
It stands for Entertainment Software Rating Board. It was first made in Canada, Canadian company, and then
Okay.
came over to US. Should work.
And then look how much it evolved. Like, as games, what?
Just there.
I'm sorry, I was just staring at that.
Yeah.
Did he do what I think he just did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
so
So as you can see, it evolved and got a lot gorier. But as games evolve, so do people and their tolerance for video games and their maturity. I'm sure a 16-year-old would have no problem playing like this, and it's only a year apart from the actual age to play it. And we're not saying that like 10-year-olds and 13-year-olds should go out and buy Grand Theft Auto. It's not a good idea.
Yeah, no.
But a small leap, like a year gap, that's not gonna hurt anyone, you know?
Yeah, can we, I'm anxious to get past this slide.
That's the last
That's
one.
one.
You might as well
You
go
can go
back
back
to
to the
it.
other one.
Okay. So that's the, okay.
For the survey, some people had some really good points. It's like, we asked like, see if children should be able to play violent video, or teens. Like, some people said yes, they know, like,